Gemini ascendant, Gemini risings, this is your July, beginning of July. We're going to talk about the eclipse, okay? This is July 2020. We have an eclipse on the 4th/5th. I have another video out about that. If you don't know, go down below, find the link. I'll have it attached or I'll have it pinned and you'll be able to listen after this video, of course. Because this one is going to tell you how that energy, where exactly it is in your life. This is all about the where, about the who, about the how long. The next 6 months for you, 18 months. And Mars. 5 things, Gemini. 5 things. Talking, thinking, speaking, relating, communicating. Gemini, you are highlighted. The stage is yours. The eclipse, 1338, 13 degrees, 38 minutes in Capricorn energy. Your Capricorn energy typically is in your 8th house. When we have 8th house energy, this is about bonded relationships. It's a deep house, okay? It's deep emotions, because it's so deep, stuff that's buried deep. But with Capricorn energy, it's people we're connected and bonded to through material things. Because Capricorn is our tangible world. It is our tangible securities. That's what Capricorn is. The opposite of that energy is the Cancer energy. And the Cancer energy is where the divine feminine energy is at. It's at 1338. So this eclipse is a full moon eclipse. It's a lunar eclipse. And this lunar eclipse, there's a letting go possibly of work because it's in Capricorn. Because it's in your 8th house, there could be, whether this could be a partnership, a deeply bonded partnership, because 8th house, the 8th house energy is about people that we could possibly receive an inheritance from if they were to pass. Like we're that close to them that they would put us in their will. I don't know anyone like that. Or we would somehow, our name would be there on their insurance policy. So that 8th house energy and the tangible material stuff, I have found for me that a lot of the Capricorn 8th house also comes down to who I work for, which makes sense because if there's a connection materially, right? My tangible security comes from who I'm bonded with. And aren't you bonded to who you work with? The job that you work for, like everything in your life. That's how you get fed. That's how you send your kids off to school. It's how you give them clothing. That's how you feed them. So there is this connection to this tangible world. And it's deeply bonded. But understanding that when we have a full moon, remember, full moon is all about I'm letting go. When the moon shines its light, it's this thing that you were letting go of already. And if you weren't, meaning there might be a planet at this point, okay? If you have a planet that matches because it's 1338, it can be anywhere from 1138 to 1538, all right? 2-degree orb. 2 degrees. And if that's the case, that means you need an extra big jolt, another big reminder. Something will occur and will light it up. And it'll say, yeah, you thought that maybe this was happening, or you thought that maybe you were done with this, or you thought that maybe, you had inklings. Well, here's the proof. Here's the light on it. You can't ignore it anymore. It's here. And so we get to the point where it's like, okay, am I leaving this job? Am I done with this? I have just had it. So for a lot of people, a lot of folks who have this exact thing already left those jobs, right? If you're someone where you're within a few degree orb, you might be thinking about it, okay? Because Capricorn energy is our ambitions. It is our career. And we want to understand better where that's going to happen and who those people are. Well, here we go. Capricorn energy represents the bosses. It represents not just the boss, but if we look at a person in your life, it could be someone that somehow is an authority figure for you in your life. So this doesn't have to be just a boss. A lot of people consider their parents their boss. It is masculine energy. We also can have, we have a lot of people in our life who can be our boss. It doesn't have to just be like mom or dad. We can consider our grandparents our bosses. They're authority figures above us in ways. It really depends the dynamics of your life. For some folks, it's, the priest, right? Or it's the preacher or my reverend, it just depends who you go to for counsel, who, if they tell you something, you're like, okay, you listen to them because you're like, okay, yes, I'll do that. Whoever that may be in your life, it could be anybody. but whoever you know that you go to and where they in some way have authority over you, like they can somehow say, these are the rules in this area and you have to follow these rules. That's an authority figure. So it could be supervisors at work, right? It could be, you know, managers, right? All this stuff. But understanding that and understanding there's just might be something that occurs where you're like, okay, wow, that happened and I'm just done. I'm done. Now, I bring it up about relationships, and it could be marriages, because it's more personal. It's because it's in the 8th house, so it becomes very deeply personal. You know, it's not 7th house, relationships and partnerships, business partnerships, but it's 8th house. So it just depends on who you are. If you don't know and you want to know, comment your stuff below. I can help you figure that out. If you don't have your birth digits, you need to get them. Go to wherever you were born, whatever city, see if they can get them. A lot of them have them, you know, available online, and find that out. Bring those to me, comment them here, and I'll get your rising sign for you. Because when you have your rising sign, it gives me a look at your frequencies. All right, and your frequency grid, your birth chart, is all about the cycles and the timing, which means dates. Which means I can be like, okay, yeah, you're in this cycle right now. Think of the seasons, summer, fall, winter, spring, right? Think of the seasons. That is the micro version of this. It's the same thing. Let's talk about Mars for you, okay? Mars, and for all of us, is going to be in the sign of Aries for 6 months. It started at the butt end of June. Mars went into the sign of Aries, so I don't know if you noticed anything or not. If you did, it would have been in areas of your friends, group. This is where your Aryan energy is. It's in your 11th house. And so when you have group energy in your 11th house, you like to be the leader of the group, right? The leader of the pack, so to speak. But understanding that this is internet area, okay? And maybe you'll be starting something new. Maybe you'll be vlogging. Maybe you'll be doing podcasts. Maybe you'll just be blogging, you know. Who knows what you'll be doing? But having Mars there means I want to start something. Let's do it. But you need to see the big picture here, okay? Mars is going to give you this, let's do it. Mars is very much like, let's go for it. It's the ego. It's the drive. It's the desire. Mars is just a tool. And Mars energy is not consistent. It goes from 0 to 10 very quickly. It's not stable, all right? It kind of just flips off. So you want to realize that you have the ability to use that energy. You have the ability to pull that tool out when you need it and use it wisely, because Mars carries weapons. So it can be dangerous if you're not using it wisely. And so I just want you to keep that in mind. And in group energy, you have to be really responsible with that kind of energy. You have to use it in a way where you are showing it's not just about me being the leader. I am incorporating the best for all involved, because that's really what we're trying. That's really how we want Mars to operate. We really want Mars to have a new day, have a birthday, which is what's happening. And Mars is going to be tested for 6 months, because Mars goes forward and then it comes all the way back into the Aryan energy, and then it goes forward again. So it's going to constantly be experimenting. This is a good word, experimenting on the internet, experimenting in groups, trying new things. But it'll be okay as long as you do this in a way where you see it as an exploration, as an experiment, as a possibility for how things can be. Okay, not a definite, right? You got to be flexible and mutable. And Gemini, you are flexible and mutable. And so this takes me to the next point for you. North Node energy. All right, Gemini, North Node. You've got the North Node in your first house. So with the North Node being there, the spotlight is really on you. Your ability to talk, to communicate, to relate, to speak. Your ability for people to look at you and be like, wow, what a beautiful mind. Like, I love the way you think. Right? This is that time. This is when you have the ability to shine seriously, because the spotlight is here. Thinking, how I think about myself. This is big for you because it's in your first house. North Node will be here for the next 18 months. Being flexible, being mutable, being able to understand and embrace differences and love variety, this is going to be key. This is the future. This is the future. Not just the future of the next 18 months, but on a global scale. But beyond global, on a cosmic level, we all want to be members of the CCC, right? And Gemini, this is you. There's a part of you that gets this. You have this duality, all right? You've got the masculine, you've got the feminine. You've got the I'm in to the ground with the material world. I get it. I understand how things work, right? You've got the thinking there, but at the same time, there's this other part of your being that's up there. You've got an antenna that goes way up and that's receiving constant information. So this is a time where you may be changing because you're going to be hearing things that come in. And when things come in, you're going to relate differently. You're going to somehow feel, you're going to see a new thing about you. There's going to be a revelation for you where it's like, oh my God, I didn't know that. This is what this is about. Or yeah, I felt this coming. And it's just going to start evolving. It's going to start growing. All right, you're going to give birth to this thing. And when it hits that sign of Taurus, right? Taurus rules the spoken word. Gemini's the thinking. So it's, we got to harness our thinking skills first. How we think about ourselves, how we think about others, how we talk to others, how we relate, how we communicate. And then when it gets to the Taurus energy, right, at the end of that 18 months, there will be this new voice that comes through, this new ability to be able to talk about all that was being downloaded and to bring it out and to share it. And the understanding that when we get in the right place where we're relating in a way where we can get beyond the physicality, where we can get beyond the look, the color, the gender, the shape, the two-legged, the four-legged, the fur, the non-fur. Like when we get beyond all of that, we can then escalate. We can then elevate. We can then move to the next level. And when we do that here, on this planet, within the earth, and embrace her, love her, and cherish her, we can then belong within the cosmic community. We can become citizens of the CCC, right? We will then be official members of citizens of the cosmic community. And that's where we want to go on a big scale, all right? So on the small scale, we got to be able to do it here. We got to be able to do it right here, right now, starting with me. This is how it is. And when we do that, when we make our thoughts right, when we cherish who we are, we can make it happen. We can do it. Mercury is going to go direct in the sign of Cancer. Cancer is nurturing, understanding my tribe, my family, understanding that my tribe and my family is every living being. Every living being. And what are living beings? That's going to be the big aha when people realize what a living being is. Like their definition of life is going to change. And we're going to see it all differently. And we're going to learn to embrace and cherish all life when we see who falls into that category, when we see what falls into that category. It'll be beautiful. But this is a coming out of that. This is a gestation period where the coming out will be 18 months, right? Will be even further out than that. It's going to be a few years out from that. But Cancer energy for you, this is your fifth thing, your fifth nugget. The Cancer energy is in your second house. All right, so when you have Cancer in your second house, that means you cherish family. You cherish your tribe. You cherish feelings. You cherish emotions. You cherish understanding. You cherish empathy and nurturing. You get it. But it's going to go beyond just your family. And so if you're already not there, there's going to be this evolving of that, right? There's going to be this Mercury waking up there and understanding we have to embrace unity. And when we say the word unity, that means everything, Mother, Father, Spirit, God, Creator, Source, Allah, whatever your word is, Yahweh, whatever your word is, the universe, whatever your word is, everything divine, everything is blessed, everything is a product of deity.